What's going on, everybody? It's Coach Bronson here. It is Tuesday night. It's live. We are trying out some new technology today. I'm just trying to stream to YouTube. I'm trying to go to Facebook Live, and we're on LinkedIn as well at the same time. So let's see how this all works. I've got some little presentations, some graphics we're going to throw in here later because we're talking about how to read an InBody. What is body composition all about? How to read an InBody scale report. So when you get on an InBody scale and you get the information in the app that you get on your phone, it's connected to Bluetooth. How do you read that information, what it's all about, and how to use it to improve your health and fitness? Before we do that, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed already, and click on the bell so you're notified every time there's a new video that comes out. I'm trying to increase the frequency with that I put videos out, so we'll see how that goes if I can keep up with it. More importantly, though, if you find this information helpful, if you feel like there's something in here that's going to help you move forward, maybe that means there's somebody you know who could use the information as well. So please share it as much as possible. Copy the link, send it to a friend, say, hey, you need to listen to this because it's something that's going to help you improve your quality of life. All right, we want to shine that light and get as many people as much information as possible and make this world a better place. All right, let's get into it. InBody scanners, body composition in general. What is it all about? So the first thing we want to talk about is what is the difference between body composition and weight? So we get on a scale, okay? Traditional scales tell you how much you weigh. Pretty simple. One number, total weight, okay? It's hard to tell anything off of that. The reason why that's been such a thing for a long time, years and years and years, is because much like the discussion about how to manage your health has been stuck focusing on weight, the process has been stuck focusing on weight, okay? Weight is a very good marker if you're only talking about calories in, calories out, work more, eat less. If the only thing you're managing is how much you eat in general and how much you move your body in general, then the only thing you're able to track is how much you weigh. That's it. You're limiting the understanding and impact of what the food is having on your body, okay, inside your body, physiologically, metabolically, hormonally, all those sorts of things, okay? So you only have access to one data that's going to mean anything. If the only thing I'm tracking is my calories for the day, then understanding how my body is different in lean mass versus skeletal muscle mass versus body fat, or how my BMR, my base metabolic rate, is affected up or down based on what I'm eating, none of that can be changed or affected because the only thing I'm focusing on, the only thing I can change or do anything with is eat less or eat more, okay? And that's where changing our mindset around how our body utilizes macronutrients and what it actually means to be metabolically healthy is important, okay? Because your weight is not an indicator of health. Your weight is not an indicator of health when it comes to how you can improve where you are from where you've been, okay? So what we're going to talk about is the difference between weight and body composition. Body composition is a multitude of factors, okay? We have several things that we look at when we talk about body composition. Body composition is how is your body made up, not just how much you weigh. So it gives us a much better ability to look at the effect of the food that we're eating, the effect of the activity that we're doing, and how it helps us improve. So we're looking at a whole bunch of things here, okay? We're looking at total body weight is part of it, okay? But we use the total body weight to get some other numbers, percentages, right? Skeletal muscle mass in pounds, body fat mass in pounds. From those two numbers, we can get our lean body mass, okay? How much of our body weight comes from everything but fat, okay? We can get our body fat percentage. What percentage of our body weight is fat? We can get our skeletal muscle mass percentage. How much of our body weight is coming from just muscle that's attached to bone, the muscle that helps us move our bodies, okay? We can get our BMR, base metabolic rate, the average amount of energy that our body utilizes in a day, all right? Those are a handful of things, okay? Depending on the level of device that you get. So for what we're talking about and what we're looking at in this video, we're going to be talking about the InBody at-home device, the HN20N or the HN20B. They do have commercial level devices that can also give you things like intracellular and extracellular hydration. They can give you a visceral fat number. They can tell you a score of how much of the fat that's on your body is internal around your organs versus outside subcutaneous under your skin. Okay. Those are additional metrics and markers that can help us identify things like inflammation, injury, and overall health. Okay. For the at-home devices, it does not have those capabilities. But just so you know that technology does exist and it is out there. And that's all part of body composition. There's a lot of things that go in here. Okay. So we're talking about, how many things we got? Did I say 10 things? So we got total body weight, body fat mass, skeletal muscle mass, lean body mass, skeletal muscle percentage, body fat percentage, BMR. Okay. 7 things. Okay. 7 different factors that we can look at. That's a lot of different things, very different. And you compare it to just body weight. Okay. One of the big things you guys have heard me talk about before is focusing on just body weight is like you're walking with your head into the ground and you're going to walk into a wall. Looking at body composition gives you a much better insight into what's going on and always gives you a way to come up with something that you can work on, keep you moving forward, help you understand that even if you're stuck at a plateau with your weight, there may be something really good going on with your body fat. There may be something really good going on with your BMR. There may be something really good going on with your skeletal muscle mass. There's a lot more happening in your body than how much you weigh. Okay. So that's what body composition is. And let's talk about some of the goals and what we're looking for, what we're shooting for. Okay. In general, when we talk about those 7 different factors, okay, our total body weight, in most cases, over time, you will probably end up losing weight. If you're starting as overweight, you're over fat, you're under muscled. You may see some times where your weight doesn't change, but in general, over a period of time, your weight will probably go down. So we want to see a trend. Okay, this is another factor to remember. Whenever we're talking about body composition, we're looking at trends over time. Okay, and I'm talking 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, 90 days, 120 days, 6 months. We're looking at trends, right? Maybe once a week, once every other week, once a month, you hop on there and you look at from where you started to where you are now. Okay. Or you look at maybe 3 to 4 weeks ago to make sure that that trend is still going down. You're not going up, right? In a short period of time over the long term, right? So we're not looking just to, I went on it today, I went on it last week, and I'm a pound heavier, right? I have a pound more or a percent more body fat percentage, or I lost half a pound of muscle. Okay, we're not looking at it just from last week because things happen, okay? But if I look at today and then I look at 5 weeks ago when I started, then I should see the trend going down or up based on which metric I'm looking at, okay? In general, it's a general direction that we're looking for. Any 1 week difference is not something I want you to worry about. Remember that, okay? Any 1 week difference is not something you need to worry about. What's the last 5 weeks look like? What's the last 6 weeks look like? 8 weeks, 10 weeks? Are things moving in the general direction from when you started this whole process? Okay, keep that in mind. All right, so when we talk about body weight, it may change. In general, it's probably going to go down. We talk about we talk about lean body mass, okay? Your lean body mass is probably, if you're doing it right, going to go up along with your skeletal muscle mass, okay? Your lean body mass, your skeletal muscle mass should go up. That's the plan. That's the goal. We want you to add muscle, add lean mass. Your body fat percentage and your body fat mass. Now, here's the deal. Your body fat percentage, we want it to go down, okay? Your body fat mass will probably also go down initially and for a while. For a while in the process, especially if you're over fat, your body fat percentage will decrease, okay? There may come a period of time where your body fat mass kind of hits a level and stays where it is, even if your body fat percentage is going down, okay? And that's because your body fat mass is just how much fat you have on your body in pounds. If you maintain that and you add muscle, the percentage of your total weight is going to go down compared to fat. So your body fat percentage will go down. I'm more worried about body fat percentage than I am total body fat pounds. Okay. So we want to get your percentage down because your percentage is a relationship to your total weight. Your total weight comes from your fat and everything that's not fat. If you're gaining lean body mass, if you're gaining skeletal muscle mass, then that's a good thing, even if you don't lose any fat at all. Okay. Yeah, that's something that's going to be a mind bender, right? If you don't lose fat and you gain muscle, you're still getting healthier. Okay. Because muscle drives metabolic function. And the more muscle you have, the healthier you're going to be, and the longer you're going to live, and the less injuries you're going to have, and the faster you're going to recover from things. All the good things happen when you add muscle. Okay, that's the goal. That is the definition of improving metabolic health. Improve metabolic health equals add more muscle. Okay, when you do that, the fat will start taking care of itself. Okay, so we've got your total body weight, we've got your lean mass, skeletal muscle mass, body fat mass, body fat percentage. Okay. We've got your skeletal muscle percentage. Same thing with the skeletal muscle and lean body mass. Your skeletal muscle percentage, muscle mass percentage should go up as well. Okay. So talking about body fat percentage and skeletal muscle mass percentage, just a reminder for women, you're looking for shooting around 22, 24% body fat percentage and around 40% skeletal muscle mass percentage. For men, you're looking at around 20 to 22% body fat percentage and 45% skeletal muscle mass percentage. Okay. So those are the numbers to kind of shoot for. If it gives you something to kind of put your head around about what you need to do to get where and where you want to go. Okay. Then the last thing you have is your BMR, your base metabolic rate. Your base metabolic rate is what I call your Netflix and chill. Okay. It's if you're sitting on the couch all day long, you're not doing anything, you're just watching Netflix, then that's how many calories, how much energy your body is going to use in a day. Okay. It doesn't include if you're doing any additional activities. It doesn't include working out or work or playing with the kids or whatever. It's basically just you and burning fuel. Okay. Now, it's not 100% accurate and we don't use it a lot. I don't like to use BMR like the traditional methodology. The traditional methodology of BMR is looking at it as a fuel, as a calorie number. Okay. And that's how it's tracked, right? It's 2,000 calories, it's 1,800 calories, whatever it may be. The issue with that is we don't know exactly how many calories we burn in a day. It's all formulas. It's all guesses. It's a wild guess. If you can go to 5 different BMR calculators online, and you'll get 5 different answers for what your BMR might be. Okay. And then if you add in any activities and stuff like that throughout the day, you may be super active one day, not active the next day, super active the next day. That number is going to be jumping all over the place. There's no way to tell exactly how many calories you burn. And it doesn't really matter. Okay. This is why when you guys, if you work with me, we talk about getting you your macros and getting the energy that you need based off of your weight, your lean body mass, and how much muscle you have, because I want to base your macros off of what's driving your metabolism, which is your muscle. Okay. Your lean mass is what's driving your metabolism. That's what I want to base your macros off of. So when we talk about calories, for me, or BMR, what I do is I look at BMR as a indicator of metabolic function. Okay. If your BMR is coming out as 2,000 when you get started and you have 150 pounds of muscle, let's just say, okay. If your skeletal muscle mass is 150 and your BMR is 2,000, then as you increase your muscle mass and lose body fat, your BMR should maintain or increase. If your BMR number is maintaining or increasing, that means you are doing things properly. That should correlate. BMR maintenance or increase should correlate. When we look at all the numbers together, there should also be an increase in skeletal muscle mass, an increase in lean body mass, and a decrease, potentially a decrease in body fat percentage. Okay. So that's what we're looking for. The whole idea of this process, guys, is to improve metabolic function. Your BMR, the way I use it, is the indicator that your BMR, that your base metabolic function is maintaining or getting better. Okay. If that number is staying the same and you're losing body fat, we're on track. That is fantastic. That's what we're looking for. If that number is getting better and you're losing body fat, woo-wee, you're a rocket ship and you're taking off. Okay. So those are the things. What I'm going to do now is we're going to test something out. I'm going to see. We'll get to some of these comments afterwards. Well, let's see. Let's talk about these comments real quick. Hi, Claire. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Jujubee. Heather. So my trend is everything is going down. Most is fine. Trying something new. Oh my God, this actually works. So my trend is everything's going down. Most is fine, but weight is going down, but want to gain muscle despite being full after dinner. Add more protein. Not sure if that's my problem. Okay. Heather, I think just because we have some history and you were in the challenge and we talked a little bit, I would take a guess that your issue with gaining muscle is probably more related to your frequency and intensity of exercise. So that's something that we can talk about in another video. But remember, you need recovery. You need to give yourself a break. The intensity level that you train at needs to match what you're trying to do from a metabolic and performance perspective and from a lifestyle perspective. Overtraining is the number one way to lose lean mass besides starving yourself. Okay. So if you feel like you're eating enough, then it's very possible that you're overtraining and not getting enough rest. Okay. That's the number. Those are the two things that are probably going on. What could be going on. Okay. Without actually sitting down with you and kind of looking at your schedule, looking at your routine and seeing what you're doing every day. But I know that's something you've worked on in the past. So that could be something playing a role there. All right, let's see here. Hello, Lynette. How are you doing? All right, that's the only question so far. Great. Thanks for that, Heather. Appreciate it. It's possible. Okay, so Heather's asking, yes, more than Tuesdays off. It's very possible. So here's the thing. When it comes to exercise and rest, particularly if you've been overtraining historically or for a long period of time, you may need more rest initially until you find that groove where you can balance the two of your workouts and your rest and see progress. Okay. If you've been overtraining for a long period of time, you need a long period of time where you're training less so your body can catch up and heal. Okay. It's just like eating bad. If you've been eating bad for a long period of time and you transition to keto or carnivore, it's going to take some time for your body to reach that healing process and get to where it needs to be. So you may need to, for a period of time, severely cut it back. Okay. And then when you get back into it and you start ramping up your intensity or frequency again, make sure that you're tracking your recovery, tracking your gains. You should, if you're tracking, I did these workouts this week, and then next week I feel like crap and I didn't see any progress, muscle mass, right? Then that's something to take a look at. So that's where tracking is super important. Not just tracking your food, not just tracking your body composition, but pairing those two things up with what you're doing for your training and making sure that 1, 2, or 3 of those pieces are all supporting each other. Guys, your fitness needs to support your nutrition, and both of them need to support your goals. They work together. That's why I say fitness and nutrition are 50-50. They've got to support each other in helping you move forward. Okay. Awesome, Heather. That'd be great. I'd love to sit down and talk with you. Okay. So let's see if I can figure this out. I want to add in, and let's see if this works. I have a little thing here. And we go clickety click and look at this. All right. Hopefully everybody can see this. I don't know if there's a way to make it bigger, but this is what we're looking at. So this is a screenshot of what the InBody app looks like when you do a scan, the numbers that you get and how everything's laid out. Okay. Let's go open this here. All right. So I can see what's going on here. So the first one on the left, this is actually it's one screen, but I scrolled and cut the screen in half so we could see everything. So the first set of numbers, it's actually, I put these in the wrong order. The first part of the screen is on the right-hand side. The second part of the screen is on the left. I did that backwards. Anywho, so we have our body weight. So this is a scan that I did a few days ago, earlier this week or last week. We have a body weight, and we have our skeletal muscle mass, and we have body fat mass. Okay. Now, if you notice the colors in the lines, So these colors are basically telling you how your numbers compare to all of the other people that InBody has data for based on your age, right? And your weight and all the other. They take all your stuff and they compare it and they give you a comparison to everybody else that fits your demographic. Okay. So for me, I'm just a slightly almost above average on weight for my age. I'm above average in skeletal muscle mass for my age, and I'm below average in body fat mass for my age. Okay. So that's what those numbers, that's what the color codes mean. Okay. It's basically an average. All right. And then the little arrows underneath each number, right? So my body weight didn't really change. It says 0.0, no change. 0.3, my skeletal muscle mass went up 0.3 pounds. And then 0.5, my body fat mass went down. The pounds of fat on my body went down 0.5 pounds since the last time I did a scan. Okay, does that make sense? If anybody has any questions, just ask, and we'll dig into it. Underneath that, we have CID. Okay, and this is InBody's real simple way to kind of say this is what you're looking for, and this is some goals, that a direction you can move in trying to improve your body composition. So basically, you can be a C, which means your weight and your body fat mass are higher than your skeletal muscle mass. Okay, that's not where we want to be. You don't want to be a C. If you're a C, you want to start working towards being an I, which means your weight, your skeletal muscle mass, and your body fat mass are all about average. Okay, so if your weight is above average, if your weight is in the red and your body fat mass is in the red, and your skeletal muscle mass is in the gray or the green, you're in a C. We want you to be an I or a D. Okay, that means the other way around. So if you look at me, I'm a D. My skeletal muscle mass is higher than my weight and my body fat compared to the normal population, the population, the general population that InBody has data on. Okay, that's what that means. So you want to, if you're a C, you want to try to move to being an I and then eventually move to being a D. That's what you're trying to get to. Okay. Your BMI, completely ignore your BMI. I don't care about your BMI. My body fat percentage is 9.4%. You can see that it went down from the last scan that I did, 0.6%. Okay, so I gained some muscle, I lost some body fat, so my total body fat percentage went down. If I had not lost any body fat, my body fat percentage still would have gone down because I gained lean mass. Okay, keep that in mind. And then my BMR actually increased even though I lost some fat because I gained muscle. My BMR went up by 11 points, 1951. Okay, so that's the basics, guys. That's where the basic information comes. And this is where the really cool part comes, is when we look at, hold on, let me see if anybody has any questions here real quick. Let's see here. Let's see. DEXA scans, yes. How accurate? Okay, we'll talk about accuracy. Claire, remind me at the end if I don't talk about accuracy. We'll talk about accuracy when I'm done. Okay, and then the differences between the N and the B. Good questions, guys. All right, let's talk about the second thing. This is the really cool part, is when we talk about, change it up, we talk about trends. Okay, this is what we're looking for. The app allows you to look at how you're doing scan for scan over time. That's the real powerful piece of this, because you can see what direction things are going, and if they're not going the way you want them to, you can make changes and change direction. Okay, so my base metabolic rate, if you look at the top left, okay, when I started scanning, so right now the process, what I'm working on right now. So if you guys know, over the past 7 months, I've been working on cutting, trying to maintain my muscle mass and cut body fat at the same time. I was successful doing that. I got down to sub 10%. I was able to maintain my body mass. My skeletal muscle mass was the same when I started 7 months ago and as it was when I ended. So I was able to maintain skeletal muscle mass and cut body fat percentage at the same time. Now what I'm doing is kind of the reverse of that process. I'm looking at adding skeletal muscle mass and maintaining my body fat percentage. Okay, so instead of, I'm changing one thing and trying to maintain the other, but I'm trying to grow right now instead of cut right now. Okay, so I got to a certain point of being lean and I want to stay this lean, but add muscle. So the numbers that I'm looking at for my goals are I want to make sure that my base metabolic rate is maintaining or going up. I want to make sure that my skeletal muscle mass over time is going up. I want to make sure that my body fat mass is staying the same or going down. And I want to make sure that my body fat percentage is staying the same or going down. Okay. And if you look at here, everything right now over the past 4 scans that I've done, right? I started at the beginning of the month. This is the one, the 27th was the last one. So this is basically a month here. Right now, things are on track. Okay. My base metabolic rate has actually gone up almost 20 calories. 20. I like to call it points because I don't use it as calories. I like to call it points. So my base metabolic rate has gone up almost 20 points, which is what I'm looking for. My weight is actually gone down by 0.5 pounds. Oh my gosh. I've lost 0.5 pounds of total body weight. My skeletal muscle mass has gone up 1.5 pounds. I've gained 1.5 pounds of skeletal muscle in a month. Okay. That's above average. Average for guys is usually around, I think it's 0.5 to 0.75, something like that. Maybe a pound a month. So I'm doing really good with that right now. My body fat mass has actually gone down over 2 pounds of body fat I've lost since I started this, okay, while gaining 1.5 pounds of muscle. So you can see how that works, guys. My weight, if you look at the weight at the beginning, 178.6, the weight now 178.1. I've lost almost 2 pounds of fat, but I've gained almost 2 pounds of muscle. So you see how the weight balances out. My body weight hasn't really changed that much, just about the difference between how much muscle I've gained versus how much fat I've lost, right? I've lost a little bit more fat pounds than I have gained muscle. So my weight's only dropped a little bit. Okay. That's what we're looking for. That's exactly what we're looking for. So your weight doesn't mean squat when it comes to making these changes. Okay. The way that I'm eating, getting a lot of protein, managing my fuel intake, which is another video. I talked a little bit about that today. There's a PSMF video that I did earlier today that I posted. If you want to check that out, I talked a little bit about managing your energy and what a maximum energy threshold is and how to use that. I'll be getting into that in other videos in the future. That's a new concept that I'm kind of pushing out. But as you do that, you'll see this is exactly what happens. This is what we're looking for. My BMI, don't care about. Body fat percentage, again, is going down. I would love to be able to get this thing under 9% and maintain it while I'm building skeletal muscle. That would be freaking fantastic. All right, but that's basically how you read these guys. Notice the trends. If I go another 2 weeks and then something happens and I'm seeing that my skeletal muscle mass starts dropping again, and it happens for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks in a row, then I have to look at what am I doing? Am I overtraining? Am I not getting enough sleep? Am I not eating enough protein? What's going on there? Why would my skeletal muscle mass be starting to go in the opposite direction? Okay. But if I come in next week and then I have less skeletal muscle mass than I did this week, I'm not going to worry about it because I'm not going to lose 2.5 pounds of muscle in 1 week. Okay. If I come in and my scan says 89 next week, 89 pounds next week, then I know probably it was just a bad read on the scanner. Okay. Or I was really off whack. I didn't train at all. I didn't sleep at all. I was sick. There was something else going on that's affecting how my body is reading on the scanner. Maybe I'm sick at the time. So there's a lot of things that affect the scanners, which we can talk about next when it comes to accuracy of the scanners. Okay. Things that affect the scanners. If you're sick, if you're on your period, if you haven't had a lot of sleep, if you've just worked out, if you're dehydrated, if you get on the machine and you're super tense and you're locked up, you need to relax when you're on the machine. Tense muscles read differently. You need to relax and let the current go through you. Okay. There's a lot of things that affect the reading of the machine. So find out what works best for you. You get how you can get the best reading and make sure you do the same thing at the same time in the same way every single time. Okay. Make sure that you wipe off the sensors so that they're clean. They're not full of dust, anything like that. That your feet aren't dirty. Your hands aren't dirty. You haven't just worked out. Don't drink a cup of coffee first. Don't wake up in the morning and just go right to the scale. Get up in the morning, start your coffee, walk around, turn some lights on. Okay. Get your clothes ready to change, brush your teeth, do something to kind of move around for 15 or 20 minutes, get your body kind of awake and get your heart moving and kind of get out of that parasympathetic mode, get into the sympathetic mode, let your body start moving and everything, and then get on the scale. Okay. It's different. I guarantee you, if you do it, some tests on your own. This is another thing. Test the machine, test what works, what doesn't work. Get up in the morning and hop right on it and scan yourself. And then go make your coffee, get your food ready for breakfast, do all that other stuff, get your clothes out, comb your hair, whatever, and then go on the scan again and see what the difference in the readings are. And you'll see how different it can be. Okay. Do a scan right after you worked out. Do a scan when you haven't worked out. Play around with the different conditions that you could be under and see how it affects what the scale is to help you figure out what's the best scenario for you to get on it and get the best reading. Okay. As far as accuracy, the InBody machines are the most accurate machines on the market. They have the highest number of data points that they collect. They have the highest number of sensors. They have the highest number of frequencies that they use to collect all the information. Okay. They are the only ones that I know of that are FDA rated as medical devices. That's the B. If you get the H20B, the H20B has an FDA rating to classify it as a medical device. It can be used in doctor's offices and things like that. The H20N, it's basically the same thing. They use the same technology. There's just a slight difference. I'm not sure exactly what the difference is. They needed to do something to get it certified under FDA, but it can be used in medical offices. So either one you get, I have a 20N and I love it. I've been using it for a couple of years now. It was one of the best things I've ever bought for me, particularly from a data perspective as a coach doing a lot of experimentation and testing. So that is what that's all about. The accuracy is less important though. Even if they weren't that accurate, guys, here's the thing. Even if they weren't that accurate, they are the most accurate. The trends matter more than the specificity of the data. Okay. Even if they're 5 pounds off every time you get on it. Let's say you get on there and it says you have 20 pounds of muscle and you actually have 25 pounds. Okay. That number is going to go up as you gain muscle. Okay. So the trend, the difference between what you started with and what you end with is still the same. That's what matters. It doesn't matter if it's exact, because guess what? Even though InBody is the most exact and the best ones out there, they're still not 100%. I talked about that at the beginning. None of these devices are 100%. Okay. Because they're using technology to send electricity through your body and then using calculations to say, based on the speed and the strength of the signal and how fast it took the signal to get from sensor to sensor and all of these different complicated scientific algorithms. Okay. They're estimating based on a calculation, okay, what your body composition is. So that's why you need to find a scenario, an environment, and a configuration of your body, time of day, whatever, that is as consistent as possible to take out as many variables of those equations as possible. When you add a variable in, it's going to affect the result of the equation. Okay. So that being said, if you're consistent with how and when you do the scans, the accuracy of the scans are less important than the consistency of you using the same device, doing it at the same time, and getting the numbers that show you the variance from scan to scan. That's where it's important. Okay. So if you were 20 pounds today and you come back in 2 weeks and it says 25 pounds, you may not actually be 25 pounds. You may not actually have been at 20 pounds. Okay. But there's a 5 pound difference. So you added 5 pounds somewhere. Okay. That's what matters. Okay. That's why trends are super important. And it really doesn't matter. Okay. The accuracy as much. DEXAs aren't any more accurate. Okay. Water displacement isn't anywhere as accurate, right? Depending on who you talk to and the people in the industry that you talk to, some people will say that electrical impedance has gotten to a point where it's more accurate than water immersion. Okay. I come from the water immersion days. First time I ever did body composition stuff when I was in the Army was all water immersion. Okay. It's a sucky process. It takes a lot. It's super expensive. It's very involved. And it's not something you can do at home. Right. So having access to something that you can get this information and use it and understand how to decipher what it means and what you can do to improve your metabolic function, not just lose weight. That's the power of having one of these devices in your home. Cool. Does anybody have any other questions? That's pretty much it, guys. That's a lot of, I think that's some good information. Hopefully it helps you guys as you go through this. I do have a link in the description. I'm an affiliate with InBody. It's one of the reasons why I want you guys to understand how to use it, because I know a lot of people do have them. We're running challenges with InBody. There's more information about another challenge coming. Hint, hint, potentially in August. There may be some info coming out in KetoCon about that. Haha. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know. I will be doing, I have not decided what my topic for next week is going to be. It'd be awesome if you guys have any suggestions to shoot me a message and let me know. But I have a long list of things to pick from. I just haven't decided what it's going to be yet. But I will let you guys know sooner rather than later. And thank you very much. I will talk to you next week. Just got to figure out how to end the stream now.